The cowboy who walked past a beggar, until his son whispered the truth. The late afternoon sun hung low over the dusty streets of Silver Creek, a small western town where time seemed to move slower than anywhere else. Wooden storefronts lined the main road, their paint faded by years of wind, sun, and silence. Horses were tied to old iron posts, and the air smelled of leather, dry earth, and distant rain. Ethan Cole rode into town like he owned the place. People noticed him immediately. They always did. Ethan was one of the richest ranchers in the county, tall, broad-shouldered, dressed in a dark coat that looked like it had never known poverty. His boots were polished, his hat clean, and his posture confident. Years of success had hardened his face, carving deep lines that spoke of power, control, and a life that rarely bent to anyone's will. Beside him rode his 10-year-old son, Luke. Luke was different from his father. Where Ethan's eyes were cold and calculating, Luke's were curious and soft. He watched the town with interest, taking in every detail, the people, the animals, the quiet sadness that seemed to cling to Silver Creek like dust. They dismounted near the general store. As Ethan tied the horse, his eyes briefly passed over a woman sitting on the ground near the wooden steps. She was wrapped in a torn shawl, her hair unwashed and tangled, her face weathered by hardship. A small tin cup sat in front of her, holding only a few coins. Most people walked past her without a second glance. Ethan did the same. To him, she was just another beggar. Another reminder of a life he had long left behind, and never wished to remember. But Luke stopped. He stared at the woman, his heart suddenly pounding. Something about her felt familiar. Too familiar. The way she sat, the slight limp in her leg, the scar near her eyebrow, Luke had seen it before. In old photographs, in memories whispered by time. Luke's breath caught in his throat. He tugged gently at his father's coat. "Father," he whispered, his voice trembling. Ethan turned, annoyed. "What is it, Luke?" Luke swallowed hard, his eyes fixed on the woman. "Father," he whispered again, that's Ma." The world seemed to stop. Ethan froze. Slowly, unwillingly, he turned back toward the beggar. For the first time, he really looked at her. And everything he had buried for over a decade came crashing back. A past buried in dust. Her name was Anna Cole. Once, she had been the love of Ethan's life. Years ago, before wealth, before power, before the ranches and the reputation, there had only been Ethan and Anna. They had grown up poor, dreaming together under wide-open skies. Anna had believed in Ethan when no one else did. She had stood by him through failed crops, unpaid debts, and sleepless nights. But success changes people. When Ethan finally struck oil on a small corner of his land, money came fast, and with it, pride. Power. Distance. Ethan wanted more. More land. More respect. More control. Anna wanted peace. Family. Love. The night everything ended, they argued harder than ever before. Words were said that could never be taken back. Ethan accused Anna of holding him back. Anna accused Ethan of forgetting who he was. The next morning, she was gone. Or so Ethan believed. What he never knew, what he never bothered to find out, was that Anna had been pregnant. Alone, heartbroken, and penniless, she had left town. Life had not been kind to her. Illness, loss, betrayal, each year stripped something away, until she returned to Silver Creek as nothing more than a shadow of who she once was. And Ethan never looked back. Until now. The moment of truth. Anna looked up slowly, her tired eyes meeting Ethan's. Recognition flickered. Pain followed. Luke stepped forward before Ethan could say a word. "Ma," Luke said softly. Anna's hands trembled. Tears filled her eyes as she stared at the boy standing before her, the boy with Ethan's eyes and her smile. My son," she whispered. The cup fell from her hands, coins scattering across the wooden floor. Ethan felt something crack inside his chest. "Anna," he said, his voice barely audible. She stood with difficulty, leaning on the wall for support. "You didn't even look at me," she said quietly. "You walked right past." Ethan had no answer. The people around them stopped. The town held its breath. Luke reached out and held Anna's hand. "Father," he said, his voice steady now, "why is Ma living like this?" That question hurt more than any accusation ever could. A reckoning long overdue. Ethan took a step back, then another. His mind raced, replaying years of choices, mistakes, and silences. "I didn't know," he said finally. "I swear, I didn't know." Anna looked at him, her eyes filled not with anger, but exhaustion. Not knowing, she replied, doesn't erase the years. Luke tightened his grip on her hand. She's coming home with us, he said firmly. Ethan looked at his son. For the first time, he saw not a child, but a mirror. And in that mirror, he saw the man he should have been. The road to redemption. Bringing Anna back to the ranch wasn't easy. The housekeeper whispered. The ranch hands stared. Rumors spread like wildfire. But Luke didn't care. Every day, he sat with his mother, listening to her stories. Helping her heal. Teaching her to laugh again. Ethan watched from a distance. Guilt haunted his sleep. Slowly, he began to change. He gave land back to struggling farmers. He opened shelters in town. He used his wealth not to dominate, but to restore. And every night, he sat across from Anna, listening. I don't expect forgiveness, he told her one evening. Anna looked at him, her voice calm. Forgiveness isn't given, she said. It's earned. A new beginning. Months passed. Anna grew stronger. Luke grew happier. The ranch felt alive again. One morning, as the sun rose over the fields, Anna stood beside Ethan on the porch. I stayed, she said softly, not because of the past, but because of the future. Ethan nodded, tears in his eyes. Luke ran toward them, laughing. And for the first time in many years, Ethan Cole understood true wealth. Not land, not money, but family. Sometimes, the people we walk past are the ones we once loved. Sometimes, it takes a child's voice to remind us of who we truly are. Right finger if this story touched your heart. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more emotional Western stories.